What credentials, certifications, degrees do I have? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Zach with IT Career Questions, and I frequently, always, pretty much always, get asked what credentials or degrees or certifications do I have? So this video is basically entirely dedicated to what I have. And I want to start this video out basically by giving you a little bit of background about me. I'm going to tell you what I do currently, what I've done in the past, and then I'll tell you, what certifications, degrees, and, credentials that I do have. So right now, currently, I am an information system analyst for a hospital in the town that I live in. And that basically means that I do everything. I've mentioned that many times before in many videos, lots of my videos. I pretty much do everything. Active Directory to servers to network stuff, basic customer service things, answering phones, ticketing, whatever. You could pretty much throw anything at me and I'd probably do part of it, most of it, or all of it. So that's what I do currently. In the past, the job before this, I worked for a company that manufactured the machines that produced, mass-produced, chicken nuggets, for instance. It's basically like a huge engineering firm, essentially, where they actually, made those big machines. I did IT support for them. So I worked there only for a short time. That was a temp job, and it's a great job, whatever. That's what I did before I worked at the hospital. Before that, I worked for a very large school district, and I was in charge of their high school. Their high school had 2,800 kids, and the high school had around 1,200 devices, and they had close to about, 100 or so teachers in the building, which would include aides and things like that, administration. And I was solely in charge of that building. That was my responsibility, and it was great. And again, that was kind of, doing everything. That's where I learned Microsoft Deployment Toolkit and how all of that works. So there was lots of server. So I learned an awful lot in that school district. It was very, very large. Aside from the main high school, there was 2 middle schools and 6 elementary schools in the district. So it was very, very large, and I helped support everything else there as well when need be. So it was very, very busy. Before that, I worked for another school district, and what I did there, I was pretty much the sole IT person in that district where I handled everything. Again, I don't know how I land up in these jobs where I pretty much do much like everything under the table when you consider IT. But we had 6 schools in that district, a high school, a middle school, and then 4 elementary schools. And I was, again, the sole IT person there, so I handled all the imaging, the customer service, the tickets. Anything that plugged into the network, I took care of it. Anything that was a PC, projector, phone, that was me. I took care of it. So that's part of my past. Before that, I did consulting. I worked, in Chicago, in the big city, doing consulting, basically doing some small business and then residential customers, virus removal, things like that. That was not very fun. There was lots of driving, lots of painful driving. Before that, worked for another school district, and I was, again, the IT person there, and it was a very, very small school district. It was one private school, and that's pretty much what got me into it. So right there, basically what I'm telling you, I didn't give you a year by year. I didn't tell you how long I was at each position. Will basically sum up the last 14 years of my IT career, the last 14 years of my life, really. So I am 32 years old right now. So you do the math on that. So I've basically been working in IT since I was 18 years old. I mean, that's what it comes down to, ideally here. 2002, I got my first job in IT, and that was at that very small school district, handling support for them. And then part of that was kind of teaching kids and the computer class, typing, and things like that. So it was kind of an all and like Zach of all trades position, of course. And ever since then, I've just been working. So now I am going to tell you what degrees, certifications, and all that fun stuff that I have. So be prepared, because I have none. I absolutely have 0 certifications, 0 degrees to speak of. I have been working in IT since I was 18 years old. So 2002 was a completely different ball game back then. Getting into IT then, completely different than it is now. Technologies were completely different. Nobody understood it to the degree that it is today. Today, it's not the same. So luckily for me, all that I have to speak for myself is experience. So for me getting jobs, all that I can really speak of is experience. I have lots and lots of experience in lots of different fields, lots of different business settings and things like that. So that's what gets me in the door. That's the only thing that gets me in the door. Has not having a degree or a certification held me back in any way? Yeah, absolutely. It has definitely held me back in some jobs, but it has not necessarily held me back in my career, if that makes sense. I've still managed to get amazing jobs and amazing job opportunities, and I'm very happy for that. So unfortunately for me, going to college was not in the books for me in the past 14 years, because I've been working. I have a family. Finding the time to go to school and do all that, yeah, it's absolutely doable, and there's people out there that do it. Is it something that I plan to do? It could be. It definitely could be. Certifications? Yeah, I definitely plan on getting certifications at some point. Right now, in my current job, I don't need them. I don't need any certifications. I don't need a degree. I make great money where I'm at. I have a job that I absolutely love. So going further and trying to expand, going to college and getting certifications right now for me, one, that's time that I don't have. Family, work, I just don't have that time. And it's money that I don't want to spend. So that's not trying to deter you guys away from taking that path, because again, back when I first got into IT, it was completely different than it is right now in today's technology world. You guys really, unless you guys are going to have years of experience kind of like I have, it's going to be hard for you to get your foot in the door. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. I don't recommend it. I really don't. I would definitely steer you guys away from that. At the very least, I strongly suggest you guys at least have an A+ certification. That's the very least, the very minimum. Make sure that you have a certification, because without having any kind of experience, the chances of you getting your foot in the door for any type of interview or job working in IT are basically slim to none. And that's just the truth. Again, I will definitely stress that it was completely different from the time 14 years ago to what it is now. So, now in today's world, you definitely need to have a degree for sure, or certification, and definitely that experience. I've talked about that in many, many videos before. It's definitely, those are essential things that you guys should have. There's lots of people who work in IT who are just like me. The two system administrators in my that I work with at my current job, at the hospital that I work for, neither of them have degrees, and neither of them have any certifications whatsoever. And they are two of the smartest guys that I have ever met. So it's hard to say, like, you absolutely have to have these things in order to work in IT. But again, now keep in mind, they're older. They've been in IT for a very long time. So again, that's one of those things where when you got in at that time in the early 2000s and even in the late 90s, or even the early 90s when, there's lots of older people in IT who are very brilliant and who still work in IT. So, and even the 80s too. You guys are really old. I'm sorry if you're watching this. But anyway, it's just a completely different ballgame now. Without those degrees and certifications, man, that's what people are looking for. And when a lot of those job applications that you're filling out, they're going to say, must have a degree or X amount of experience. And that's basically where I fall in, is with that X amount of experience. So I hope this kind of answers your questions. It's probably not exactly what you guys wanted to hear. Especially because I'm always trying to tell you guys to go out and get a degree or go out and get a certification. That's not because I want you guys to go out there and spend a bunch of money, going through college and getting certifications. That's not by all means. I'm not getting paid to tell you guys this. I'm not getting paid or endorsed to tell you guys to get degrees and certifications. But if you guys really want to work in the IT field, I just suggest it. That's my suggestion. That's my personal opinion. There's many people out there who tell you don't get a certification. It's absolutely useless. That's their opinion. That's not a fact. I'm telling you to get one. That's my opinion. It's not a fact by any means. Same with a degree. There's many people out there, don't get a degree. You don't need it. It's a waste of money. I would disagree to that. There's definitely a time, a place, and a reason to have a degree, especially when you're getting into IT, and especially when you're young, and especially in today's technology world, you definitely should have that. So that is my 2 cents on basically, the degrees, the certifications, things like that. You guys now know that I have nothing. And to tell you the honest truth, I have a GED. I didn't even graduate high school. So I am self-taught, completely 100% self-taught, basically from the time I was 14. So 1998. Yeah. It's a long time. It's a long time that I've been messing with computers. So I've learned a lot throughout the years and worked at a lot of great places where, again, I've learned a lot there. So experience is huge. It's very, very big. But you're not going to get experience if you can't get your foot in the door. And you might not get your foot in the door if you don't have a degree or a certification. So just keep that in mind. Don't take just the fact that I don't have anything that you can do that too. That's not how this world works. And you guys should definitely know that by now. So hope this answers your questions. I hope this gives you guys a little bit of insight into the world of me and what I'm all about. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions, I'm always happy to answer whatever I can for you. And this is this week's, I guess, Ask Me Anything? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this is a little bit of a new format, so hope you guys enjoy it. Leave all your feedback and questions and anything else that you want to mention down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, take it easy.